Hi, Jeremy Cordeaux in the Court of Public Opinion. I'm just on air here to let you know that we'll be live streaming the Court of Public Opinion every Friday between 9 o'clock and 12 on jeremycordeaux.com. Please join us. We'd love to have you.
In a world where everyone says hello,
they dare to say,
g'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, g'day!
Yeah, g'day. Yes. Good day. Yeah. G'day. Yeah. G'day. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Good day.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Good day.
G'day. Hey. Yeah. G'day. Yeah. G'day, Tim.
Yeah, g'day, Leon.
Yeah. G'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Oh, Tim, it's the most horrible time of the year.
We're not at Christmas yet. It's
No,
only
I'm talking about
November.
fucking spring going into summer. It's hot.
Oh, gee whiz! It's sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold. Ooh, it's all over the place, isn't it?
It's hot. It's damn hot. If you're living on the sun, it's hot. Open up a window, you know?
I don't know where you're going with that, but
It was
yes,
some kind of
it is-
paraphrasing
it's
of
interesting.
Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam. Tim, it's hot and I don't like it.
Okay, very cool.
And as you pointed out just before we started, you and I both washed our hair today, and we are fluffing up like a storm.
Yes, because of the heat and the combination of hair washing and heat, we have got a fluff storm going up. I actually washed mine last night and I slept on it. I haven't done anything to it,
Jeez.
which is why it's got a particular perk to it this morning.
Particular fluff. If I was a peacock right now, the women would be teeming over me with this plumage.
Women do love peacocks. That is true.
Wait, what? Yes. So that's a bit of hair washing insight for us. You do know how much we love hair washing.
It's true.
Um,
Gee whiz! What a wonderful world.
What a wonderful world indeed, Tim. It's been a good week. We've watched some more Bake Off, and I was gonna pretend like we've done other things, but we really haven't.
Not that much other than that. No,
No.
I went to work and the gym, but apart from that, it's been pretty much just Bake Off. All other hours of the day.
Bake Off. Jerk off. What's that?
I don't know what you do with your time, mate. I'm a good Christian boy.
Not that. So, Tim, you know, there's one reliable that I've got every week, aside from my bowels, and that is that we're going to do a podcast.
Yes. Okay.
And there's another reliable that I have with this podcast, aside from the fact that it is comedy gold, is that once in a while we're going to do an episode about a bushranger.
That is correct. We have something of a series.
Some
I
kind
think
of...
that's the English word for it.
Series.
Yeah.
Tim, I'm looking for a bushranger who is a man.
Okay. Yes.
I'd prefer one that at some point was pictured with some kind of tomahawk,
Okay.
or an axe. And I'd like it if he was a Houdini-esque figure.
Okay. So he had an axe in a picture, and he can escape. It's an incredibly specific request, but weirdly enough, I've prepared one who meets these requirements.
Tim, you always meet my requirements.
Yeah, that's the way I live my life.
Brilliant. What
Always
do you
just
got?
Ticking boxes.
What do you got for me?
All right, we're talking about a bushranger, popularly known as Moondyne Joe. Whoa, that's a good name.
Nada Moondyne.
Yeah, Moondyne Joe was his name. His real name, Joseph Belitho Johns.
Two first names.
Yeah.
One of them being his last name.
I mean, Belitho could be a third first name as well. We don't know. It could be of another ethnicity that we're not aware of.
You know you can't trust someone who's got a last name that's a first name.
It's true. It's a scientific fact, actually. I think they did some research on it. Look, let's get into the hard facts of
yes.
Moondyne Joe's life.
Give
Look,
it.
Okay. You cut me off there.
You go.
Is it my turn to talk?
Moondyne.
All right, let's get into it. Look, little is known about his early life. We don't even know exactly what date he was born. We know it was around February 1826. He was born in Cornwall in the UK, and he was raised a Roman Catholic.
Well, that's important.
A good Catholic boy like myself. I'm not Catholic. I'm technically Anglican, I think. That's irrelevant. He was a third of 6 children. His father was a blacksmith by the name of Thomas Johns. And his mother's name... his mother's name was Mary Belitho. other things that they have managed to perhaps get together about him, they think he may have had smallpox in his youth because he was described as pockmarked.
I want to talk about the science of that because I read that as well, and it's like when I die, I could also be said as pockmarked from scars that I have from the acne.
Well, that's the thing. Like Jim Henson had really bad acne, and he was described as pockmarked as well underneath his beard. So it doesn't have to be.
And I hope with modern science, I'm not going to be in the fucking morgue and then go smallpox.
Yeah. Well, I certainly hope not. So in 1833, his dad died, and he and 3 of his brothers took work as copper miners. In 1848, although all of the family was still living in Cornwall, Joe migrated to Wales. He took some work as an iron ore miner. Ooh, such interesting facts so far. Whoa, where's he going to go next? Look, this is where it starts to get a little bit dicey. 15th of November 1948, he and an associate, calling himself William Cross, which is actually a pseudonym for a convict by the name of John Williams.
John Williams
was arrested near Cheapstow for stealing from the house of Richard Price 3 loaves of bread, 1 piece of bacon, several cheeses, and other goods. Sounds like he was just having a good night.
Well, a good night, but also a shit night. Can you imagine having that much bread and that much cheese and only having 1 piece of bacon?
Yeah, 1 piece of bacon. That's a lot of bread.
Oh, look, I don't want to ruin their lives. I'm not going to take all their bacon. But,
just 1 piece of bacon's enough.
Several cheeses.
Here's the fucked up thing. They were convicted and sentenced 10 years penal servitude. And they say it's because these 2 boys decided that they were going to put up a really big defense. Like, they really went hard out on their defense. It's not 100%, like, no one really indicates as to whether they actually did it or not. They probably did it, judging by his later works. But they put up a big defense. Similar charges that just went ahead and pled guilty for this actually only got between 3 weeks and 3 months by the same judge on the same day. So probably wasn't a good idea to try and get out of it.
Well, you know, the first judgment of the day, you've always got to go hard, otherwise they'll walk all over you. So 10 years is... You want to start off at 10.
Little nuts. So over this time period, they're transferred to a variety of different prisons in the area. Of course, at this particular time in the UK, prisons were extremely crowded because they decided to put people in jail for stealing things like bread and cheese for 10 years.
And
so,
1
of
piece
course,
of bacon, so, you know.
It started to fill up. So they were transferred to a variety of different prisons, including 2 prison hulks. Now, do you know what a prison hulk is, Leon?
A prison hulk?
A prison hulk. Now, a prison hulk was the British answer to prison overpopulation. A hulk is a big ship that floats out on the water, but it actually can't go to sea. Its purpose is just to sit there.
Right, and holds prisoners.
They built these to be prisons. So the first one he was on was named Justitia.
Ooh.
Justitia.
It's a nice name. I'm thinking about using that for my child.
It is very nice. So he went there in 1951. It burnt down. Destroyed by fire.
Okay, not ideal.
And then he went on to another one named Defence in 1952. But then the next year, 1953, he was transported to the British penal colony of WA on the Pyrenees to serve the remainder of his sentence. So they left there. They left Cornwall, I'm assuming. Actually, it doesn't exactly say where the hulks were. But they left on the 2nd of February, 1853, arrived in Fremantle on the 30th of April. And because he was such a good boy on the trip over, and because they were probably how the hell did you get 10 years for stealing bread and cheese and 1 piece of bacon, they gave him a ticket of leave as soon as they got here. They were just like, yeah, look, yeah, that's fine. Just go ahead.
2 things. Number 1, Australia being a penal colony. Let's talk about this, England, all right? We let you get away with a lot now. You're all hoity-toity over there in your bloody blazers and tweed jackets and moustaches and your pipes and your Sherlock Holmes hats.
Men and women, I've seen them all.
Yes, they're all doing it. Hey, we're people too, all right?
Yeah.
We're also a country. We're not a penal colony anymore. You can't just send people over here. Still happens, Tim.
They don't.
Happens every day.
Getting very defensive
every
about
day.
That
One
stopped
load,
a long time ago.
1 plane load of British people come here, and believe me, they're all prisoners.
Yeah.
Number 2,
Sure. Okay.
a ticket of leave in Australia at that time is basically a death sentence because it's like, here you go, roam these vast lands.
Yeah, as well, because like, you're going to a country that is very different to where he's come from. Cornwall, that area, I imagine he was in Wales, all very green, all very lovely, lush. You're coming to Australia, incredibly arid, very hot. Yeah, nah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You got this, boy.
And also Western Australia, like, there's still not a lot over there now anyway. Sorry, Western Australia. Like, I know you've got,
They got some stuff.
They've
not
got
as much
cities, but
stuff as
like,
these
you know,
guys.
between like
At
Perth
this time,
and
there would have been like
other
fuck
spots.
all.
It's just, So
yeah.
yeah, I think a ticket of leave is it was probably just the fucking jailers having a bit of a laugh, really.
Yeah, look, but he was a hearty man himself. He settled in the Avon Valley, which is a very rugged area in the Fremantle area, which the indigenous community of that area actually called it Moondyne. Which is where he gets his name from.
I see.
Later on. And he made a living by trapping escaped stock and horses.
Escaped in quotation marks.
Well, yeah. At this time, for some reason, if you caught someone's horse or something that had escaped, they were happy to give you money for it. So that's all very good. And fencing the springs, which I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that there's probably some really fantastic water springs over there. Maybe he fenced them off.
Yeah, you got to fence springs or or your rabbits get in. Yeah. Too many rabbits in Australia.
Sure is. So in 1861, August to be exact, he caught an unbranded stallion and branded it with his own mark. That's stealing a horse.
It is.
In every technicality and simplicity of the sense. That's stealing a horse. And police were pissed off. They would already know that he's a convict.
Yeah, sure.
So he did this little thing, stealing a horse, which is really not a little thing. Arrested immediately. That night, held him in a cell. He broke out. Stole the horse again.
Yep. Double steal.
On top of that, he also stole the magistrate's brand new saddle and bridle. He was like, thank you. You've actually done me a service in this instance.
Can you imagine that poor magistrate that day before, just like, you know what, good John Saddlemaker, I'm fucking pleased with this saddle and bridle. And then next day comes in to put it on the pony, let alone one pony's been stolen a second time, but now he can't ride his own pony.
He can't.
My
How's he
bridle.
going to catch him?
My saddle.
But they did catch him the next day, but while he was on the run, he killed the horse and cut the brand out of its skin. Little hectic.
Yep.
But
just a bit.
He had destroyed the evidence effectively. So although they caught him, they could only give him 3 years for jailbreak rather than the 10 years that was associated with stealing horses at the time.
Okay, so like I understand that horses were the form of transportation back then, but I'm
And
not sure if
there was
stealing a car right now is 10 years. Like British people and the Australian British people that were here fucking love their horses by the sounds of it. Like,
I mean, they needed them for transport. They needed them for work. Without horses, they would have been
but like
effed in the A.
the dude broke out of jail and they were like, 3 years. Steal a horse. That's fucking 10 years, mate. All right? Don't you fuck with me.
He was good while he was in prison.
Okay.
This time, which he did sometimes. But in February 1964, they gave him another ticket of leave. They were like, all right, buddy, come on. You're going to get on the straight and narrow. He started working on a farm in Kelmscott. In January 1865. Now, this one is a bit of a touchy one.
Okay.
I'm not sure about this one.
All right.
A steer named Bright was killed. And good old Joe, he was accused of the deed, arrested on the 29th of March, found guilty on the 5th of July, and given 10 years penal servitude. He didn't think this was fair, which I get, because there doesn't seem to be any evidence as to him doing this at all.
Yeah, I'm going to side with all Moondyne on this one.
Yeah. It just kind of was given to him. He had to go with it. Didn't think it was fair, so he was like, nah, I'm not into this. Ran away from his work party with another guy. They were on the run for about a month, in which time they committed a few robberies, and that's when he started calling himself Moondyne Joe.
Oof. And what a name.
What a name. It's actually a really cool name, yeah.
Yeah, I wish I'd thought of it.
Yeah.
In 1864 or whatever it is.
So they're about a month out there. They're finally caught by a party of the police. The police actually had to use an indigenous tracker, which is something they did a lot back then. They would use people from the indigenous communities use in inverted commas, because it was definitely not a solid practice.
Nope.
To track people in the bush. They caught him. He was given 12 months in irons and transferred to Fremantle Prison for the remainder of the original 10 years that he had been given for the horse theft. No, sorry, not the horse theft. This is when he killed in inverted commas again the steer.
Killed the steer. Right.
So he was given 10 years for that, but he had to go back and do that. April 1866, sent a letter to the Chief Justice and was like, hey, come on, what's all this about?
Hey, man.
Chief Justice was nice, gave him 4 years off his sentence. Joe was not happy with that.
Nope.
He did not want 4 years. He wanted the full 10 years off. So he tried to cut the lock on his door and got another 6 months in irons. Ooh, naughty, naughty.
Like, what did he have in his possession that he was like, you know what? I think I can cut this lock
I don't know, but
maybe
he
he had
does
his axe in prison.
The remainder of his story, which I'm going to be telling, is pretty much just him escaping over and over again. So early August, he managed to actually escape and meet up with some other escapees, and they began committing some robberies. Later in that month of August, I think there was 4 of them. One of them got caught by the police, and Moondyne Joe was like, ooh, fuck, I got to get out of here. Like,
the heat is on.
Yeah, the heat is on. We got to get out of here. So on the 5th of September, he and his the rest of the band, the ones that were remaining uncaptured, committed his biggest robbery in his entire career. They stole supplies and equipment from the store of an old enemy of his by the name of James Everett.
All right, James.
So why were they stealing supplies? Why were they stealing these things?
I think you're going to tell me.
He decided that he needed to get out of the Western Australian penal colony, Fremantle area. He was going to go to South Australia, which is an incredibly long journey through very arid and awful land like it's beautiful land, but like you're going to die if you try to go through it on foot.
It's hot.
Very hot. There was like an established route by one of the explorers that they could take, but obviously people were on the lookout for them, so they had to be careful.
Yep.
They started traveling. They were caught on the 29th of September. Didn't even really make it a month when they were found by the police. They're about 300 kilometres northeast of Perth. For this, he was given another 5 years hard labour on top of his already remaining sentence and put in an escape proof, using a lot of inverted commas in this episode, cell, and had his neck chained at all times to the iron bars on his window.
Yeah, well, I think that was, in my reading, wasn't that... So whilst they were building the escape-proof cell, whilst he was in the yard or whatever, he was just chained by the neck...
At all times.
To the bars on the windows.
Now, the cell that they built, the stone walls were lined with jarrah sleepers, jarrah being a particularly hard Australian wood.
Eucalyptus tree, isn't it?
Sorry?
I think it's a eucalyptus
I believe
tree
it's in the eucalyptus family, yeah, but it's known to be like particularly hard wood. Over 1,000 sleepers, maybe it was 1,000 nails. I've written sleepers, pretty sure it was nails.
Yeah.
Making this cell almost air and light proof.
Yes.
No way he was going to get out of that.
Yeah, or, breathe or get the right amount of vitamin D.
Well, that's true, because he ended up actually getting quite sick, so he couldn't actually go out with the work party anymore. But they weren't going to let him off his hard labour, so what they decided to do was have the rocks brought into the yard. So he still had to do the work. They just didn't send him out with the work party.
Can't take the man to the rocks, you bring the rocks to the man.
And he broke the rocks right there in that jail. As he is wont to do, he was like, I've been here a bit long, haven't I? Might try to escape again. And he did. Despite being put in this cell, he escaped on the 7th of March, 1867, through a hole he had made in the prison wall. So I don't think he was even in his cell. I think maybe he must have been out in the yard or something. He escaped through the hole. Couldn't find him for 2 years.
Yeah.
He just disappeared.
He made that hole... So they brought the rocks into the yard because he wasn't allowed out. And so as he broke the rocks, a pile started to form because they weren't taking the rocks out of the jail.
Right.
So even though he had a warden watching him the whole time, they couldn't see him from the waist down. So he just started hitting the wall. It's like, yep, breaking rocks. That's my job. And it's like, yeah, no, it looks like he's doing the right thing.
Yeah. Is someone going to check up on him at any point?
And then it's just like he probably bent down and they thought he was just tying up his lack of shoes and then
Yeah.
he was gone
But he,
for 2 years.
just pissed off out of there for 2 years. He didn't go back to any of his normal haunts. Didn't do anything bad for 2 years.
Good boy. He's a good
And
boy.
he was doing well. And what do you do when you're doing well? You've had 2 years not getting caught. You think, I'm going to have a celebration. Oh, wait, I don't have any wine, though.
Oh, come on, mate.
Maybe I should break into this person's house and steal some wine from them. And that's what he did.
He did.
Yes, he did.
And?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to finish that.
Oh,
that
right.
part
I
of the
thought you
story.
were adding to it. No, so yeah, he broke in. And the person who owned the house kind of was like, what the hell is going on here? Was aware that someone was down there. The cops came around, but the owner went down. Moondyne Joe freaked out thinking it was the police, ran out of there straight into the police.
That is
Probably could
where...
have escaped.
That's where I
otherwise.
can add for you. The cops were already there,
Yeah.
having a bit of a party.
Oh, that's why they
It was
were
a
there.
bit of
I couldn't
a-
figure out why they were there.
I think it was a bit of a winery, vineyardy story thing. Like, I don't think it was just, old mate's bottle of red that he's got sitting in the cupboard.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
that
it was in it. It was like, yeah.
Yeah,
it was
probably
wine
downstairs.
storage, yeah.
So he had the police over for some, because they'd been out on another search party or some shit. So he had them over for drinks. And yeah, Moondyne went downstairs and heard old mate come in, and he was like, "Oh fuck!" and ran out the door straight into this like hall
Party
full
of
policemen.
cops.
Good
Oh my
day.
Yeah, this guy's life is hilarious.
He's
So
out of
good.
control, old Moondyne.
But, okay, so they caught him, obviously, because there was an entire party of police officers there. Sentenced to another 12 months for running away, and then another 4 years in irons, for breaking and entering to this man's house. He was pretty broken by this point, but he did try to escape one more time in February of 1971. Not his best effort. The wall is definitely his best effort.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
this time, in the carpenter's workshop, he just tried to make a key for his cell, and they caught him, and they were just like, "What are you doing?"
I reckon I can guess what key would fit that door,
Yeah.
and I reckon I could make it out of wood.
Yeah, he just decided he was going to try and make a key in the middle of the carpenter's workshop, and that clearly wasn't successful. But he rode out the rest of his time. He was let out in May of 1971, and for the rest of his life, he'd kind of go in and out of jail on brief terms, going between being good and being bad. He was married, January
He was.
1879, to Louisa Hearn, a widow.
They make her sound very old.
Yeah,
But she wasn't.
she wasn't old because, as we find out in a moment, she actually only died when she was 40, which she was not old at
No.
all. But she was a widow. That much we know.
We know that much because that's all the white
And I
men
wish
put down
I
in
knew more
history.
about this time of his life because he actually... So he and Louisa prospected for gold for a while.
Yes.
So they were kind of caught up in the gold rush sort of time of that era. And then also, for some reason, when they were out there, he discovered a cave.
That is, I maintain, my favorite part of this story and his biggest achievement is that he
Yeah.
found a fucking cave.
Which is named, Moondyne Cave, after him. So this guy lived an incredible life. Obviously, his wife then died at 40 in 1893, which has apparently affected him greatly. He was pretty upset by it. But eventually, he was found out to be mentally ill and died of senile dementia in Fremantle Lunatic Asylum on the 13th of August, 1900.
Yes. So he had quite a few years there of
He was
of
in the
lunatic asylumage.
This guy's got the most interesting life ever, and on his tombstone was the word, I can't pronounce it. It's
No,
a Welsh word, reided.
Yeah.
Reeded.
We're saying it's going to be wrong.
I
We
definitely
can't say
am
it
not
right.
pronouncing it correctly, but it's a old Welsh word for freedom,
Freedom.
which he definitely liked to obtain.
He like
He liked to escape.
He was a man of great escapism.
Yeah.
And since his departure, in what's the town called? Let me just have a look. I'll just get it up here.
He's buried in Fremantle Cemetery. Is that what you're thinking?
No, so the
Fremantle?
town that he was like hanging out in and robbing and stuff, which is in Tujay? How do you
Two
say?
J's.
How do you
I
say
don't
that
know.
word? Toodyay.
Toody.
Yay. Tudia?
Tudija?
I don't. That's completely wrong.
I don't know.
It's a place in Western Australia. So that was the town where he hung out for a bit and robbed and stuff and all.
Yeah,
that.
right.
But they have a festival now that takes place every year. It takes place on the first. I think it's on the first Sunday of May, and it's been going since I think it started in the 60s or the 80s or something. They started this festival, and it's been nominated for all these awards for tourism and events and that, and it's supposedly a dope time, and they do go very ye oldie and have Moondyne reenactments, and everyone dresses up and stuff. Actually, sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to go to that. Actually, this guy sounds awesome. We didn't really know anything about him until we decided to do this particular show.
Yeah, we picked him based on his name.
Yeah, picked him on his name, and then we were reading. We're like, oh my god, this guy lived an incredible life.
Yeah.
And some of his escape tactics are hilarious. The key thing is particularly funny.
The key thing is good. I was watching that animation by that kid, and supposedly the first time that he escaped, according to this child who made a Lego animation, he escaped by using a fork in the lock. So that's kind of cool if he did that.
Yeah, that is cool. That's some Houdini shit for sure.
But I'm just a big fan of the fact that these rocks just piled up, and he was just I'm just going to hit the wall.
Just hit the rock, hit the wall.
One for me,
hit the
one
rock.
for you. But I just like as well that the warden was obviously lazy and was like, no, I'll give him some privacy. I'll stay on this side of the rocks.
Don't go over there while he's... Give a man some space.
The man's trying to hit
Jeez.
rocks, mate, don't you? And aside from that, there's also a musical that was written in 1982 by Roy Abbott and Roger Montgomery, who are from a band called the Mucky Duck Bush Band, which I'm a big fan of that name. And as I said to Tim, it seems that we can go on to a Western Australian library and borrow the whole thing, so we can just do it. We'll just put it on.
Absolutely. That band definitely has a wash tub bass and an ugly stick in it.
And a what?
Ugly stick?
Oh, you mean the
stick with the
bottle caps on it?
Yeah, with the beer bottle caps.
I've got another name for it, and I can't.
There is another name for
remember
it, but I can
right
only
now.
think of ugly stick right now.
Oh, that's annoying.
And I don't know if the wash tub bass is the correct name either, but you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I know what we're talking about. But there's also there's multiple books that have been written. There's a children's book that won children's book awards. That was called it was called Midnight: The Story of a Wild Colonial Boy, and supposedly it was kind of the exploits of Moondyne and Captain Starlight, who's another bushranger,
which is one we'll do in the future.
Time.
Yeah.
And then as I said, there's a whole bunch of other books, but there's a book that's been put together. It's all poems and prose. I think this is all from the book. But so I've got a little verse here for you.
We're going to do some poetry reading. I'll do my slam poem after this.
So if this is from the book that we're talking about, it's a postmodern interpretation of Moondyne Joe's life called The Ballad of Moondyne Joe. And it had poems in there by John Kinsella and Niall Lucy. But I don't know who wrote this one, I don't think. Actually, I might be able to find out. No, I can't. Here we go. The Ballad
Anonymous.
of Moondyne Joe. In the Darling Ranges many years ago, there lived a daring outlaw by the name of Moondyne Joe.
Oh, good rhyme.
He stole the squatters' horses and a sheep or two or three. He loved to roam the countryside and swore he would be free. The troopers said we'll catch him, but we know it's all in vain. Every time we lock him up, he breaks right out again.
That's true.
'Cause in he goes and out he goes and off again he'll go. There's not a jail in WA can keep in Moondyne Joe.
Delightful verse. Fantastic rhyme.
It's a good verse.
I was confused at one point. I wasn't sure if there was 1 sheep, 2 sheep, or 3 sheep, but I think there was actually...
Turns out all of them.
I think there's actually 6 sheep, I think, if you count them all up.
Stole 80 sheep.
Yeah.
It's a good verse. I also put on my best Jack Thompson impersonation for anyone that's a fan of Jack Thompson. That's we got to read the poetry.
That definitely registered with me.
So that's good and that's exciting. And he is fun and he seems to be well regarded there because
he needs a movie. Like we say this about most of the Bushrangers, but I think this guy actually does need a movie. I would be very interested to see.
It would
I
be
think
good.
there is a movie, but
I think you're right there. So there's
a modern movie.
There was a movie in... I saw it before.
Yeah, I saw it too.
Literature and film. Moondyne with bushranger. Oh, so in 1913, the novel that was written by this guy called O'Reilly was turned into a movie called Moondyne, directed by W.J. Lincoln. It starred George Bryant, Godfrey Cass, and Roy Redgrave.
Right.
And that's a pretty interesting story, the story of O'Reilly's book. It's called Moondyne, An Australian Tale. And this guy, O'Reilly, was supposedly a convict at the same time as Moondyne. He was an Irish political prisoner, is what they called him, John Boyle O'Reilly. And he was... They don't think that they ever crossed paths, Moondyne and O'Reilly.
Right.
But O'Reilly bailed and got picked up by an American ship or something and went back to America and wrote this book. That was basically the stories of Moondyne, which is a work of fiction, and they said it doesn't actually really link to anything that Moondyne did, but it's still pretty interesting.
Interesting.
So that's our good mate, Moondyne. We need to rate him on a scale of 1 to beards.
Yeah, one to beards. He's got a weird beard. He's got one of those Amish beards where it goes around his face. Yeah,
it's pure neck beard.
Yeah, he's that's a good picture though. I like his. I guess it's kind of a poncho. I don't know what he's wearing, but I'm digging his threads, is what I'm saying to you.
I just want to know, in all my research, I didn't find anything about why the fuck he's holding an axe.
Yeah, I don't know. It just looks badass. I think that's it.
It's like, Joe, you want to get a picture? Yeah.
Let me hold this axe.
Yeah, I want to look like a bad mother. So just give me... But so his beard, you know what we need, and I'll talk about where we can have someone make this for us towards the end of the episode. We really need that scale because I've forgotten the scale now.
Captain
Thunderbolt's got the best beard so far.
Thunderbolt is the longest thus far, yeah.
Because we've had, I don't even know who we've talked
What's
about.
What's his face? Yeah, I can't remember.
Martin Cash.
Yeah,
had Captain Thunderbolt, Martin Cash.
didn't really have one, did he?
Oh, that's it. These are the three that we've talked about, isn't it? So yeah, Martin was at the lower end. Yeah. Captain Thunderbolt's at the top right now. I think, in terms of pure beard, Moondyne's at the top.
His definitely seems to be slightly longer and better maintained, less patchy.
It is, but also no moustache. So it's kind of like...
Yeah, it's...
On a scale of 1 to just beards, he's a Moondyne Joe.
It was a different time.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to a whole beard, he's kind of just under Captain Thunderbolt because Thunderbolt did have a moustache, but it was patchy.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Talking of beards, Tim.
Yeah.
I washed mine today. It smells delicious, and I'll tell you why, Tim.
Please tell me.
Bushrangers Brew.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yes, you have, because we talk about it every couple of episodes. Tim, I use Bushrangers Brew. I've been using it for so many years. It's the best beard care products on the market. All natural, organic, vegan-made leather. Wait, sorry, that's someone else.
I don't think that exists.
No, but it's all natural and organic. I'm not going to put any other claims on it. It's gluten-free. It's dairy-free. That's for sure.
Because you don't want to put milk products in your beard. That's something I've found.
Let's not be silly. It's delicious. Tim, you've had some fun with it as well.
I have indeed. I particularly like the Rum Rebellion scent. That's the one I enjoy myself.
You do.
Mostly. But I do use some of the other stuff as well. Bunyip Stream.
Bunyip Dreaming, yeah.
Bunyip Dreaming, rather.
And please, I'll screw it up. Good old Joel does this for us. We love Joel. And I think the best part about this is that luckily enough for our listeners and our fans, hey, all right, get in close. Come in.
Lean in.
If you're in the car, lean towards the speaker. You get a discount on Bushrangers Brew products. 20% off.
20%.
Your order by using the code YEAHG'day. That's in capital letters YEAHGDAY.
No punctuation.
GDAY because we have to. So, oh God, I just kicked my microphone. So use that code, get that stuff. I know that Adam Dotter has gotten some wonderful beard products. He got a Beard Migo pack, and he got a sneaky discount of 20%.
Oh, delicious. And if you're overseas, international audience, you want a little piece of Australia, this is the piece of Australia. These are some delightful Australian scents.
Oh, yeah. You get your beard oil, you get your beard wash, you get your moustache wax, you get your
this is stuff that you
conditioner.
smell every day in Australia.
Bunyip
it's like your
Dreaming,
beard.
Rub Rebellion.
Yeah. I smell
Mystics.
bunyips every day. Every single day. Bunyip dreams. I'm like, is that a bunyip dream?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the resemblance to the real smell of a bunyip is accurate.
It's absolutely uncanny. No, yeah, get on it. Get on it.
On it, Tim.
Yeah.
do you have an electronic letter to share with me and the rest of the world?
I do. This week we are at Dadvice. We didn't do it last week because, of course, we had Tanaya. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Pronounced Tanaya.
Tanaya on the show. Tanya of Bachelor Girl. If you didn't listen to that episode, go back and listen to it because she was a lot of fun. We didn't do it last week, so I actually have one this week. It's a Dadvice week.
Ooh, Dadvice.
Yeah, we don't care about where Harold Holt week is, so don't tell us.
No,
tell us next week.
Dadvice.
This week we want to offer you some Dadvice. So I do have an electronic mail. So I'm going to read it out to you. Hi, boys. My name is Shannon, and I live in Orange, New South Wales. I have a couple of friends from Orange. Libby.
Hey,
Libby.
Do you know Shannon?
I don't know if Libby listens to this show. But
Libby,
if
you're listening, do you know Shannon?
How's it going? Yeah. Do you know Shannon? So she writes, at the moment, the weather has been great coming into summer, but I find that I'm really cold in the morning, but really warm in the afternoon. This is something we were talking about at the start of the show. Uncanny. Actually not planned at all, which is super weird. It's so hard to dress right at the moment. What do you boys do? How do you cope with the changes in weather? Should I just wear clothes for the hot and suffer through the cold in the morning? Thanks, boys. Shannon.
Shannon. Now, if I am your father, you're not bloody leaving the house without a coat, all right? Could get cold out, and you're not going to catch a chill, or you're not going to be happy. No, here's two things you can do, Shannon. A little bit of a party in the kimono, if you will.
Ugh.
I sometimes wear long pants to work, and in my bag I pack shorts. And so as the day gets warmer, I disappear into the bathroom, and then I come back with my calves on full show. You just got to make sure you're wearing short socks so you don't look like a goober. Otherwise, I would say dress for the heat. Fuck the cold, just dress for the heat. Like, you're going to benefit more from being cool later in the day than you are from warmer in the morning.
Oh, yeah, nah. Interesting take on the situation. Look, myself, what do I do? Thanks for asking. I'm what is referred to in the classic Greek poetry as incredibly pale. So I even in the summer months, I like to wear...
Homer's pasty boy.
Yeah, I'm a pasty boy. So in the summer months, I like to wear long things anyway. I'm a big fan of just sweating it out on the tram, even if it's hot. I had this happen to me on Friday. The tram, I don't know why I'm telling this story. The tram was particularly busy, and I was sweating like a bitch. And you've got to kind of try and hide it. Do you know what I mean? Like the sweat's running down your back.
Yeah.
But as long as it's not on your face, then you're all good. So I just say, first of all, spring is a dangerous month for getting a cold.
Oh, yeah.
This is not an acknowledged thing. We all think, winter's
winter's
the cold and flu month. No. The changing of the seasons in spring and the pollen in the air, it brings on the colds.
Yeah, it gets it.
So you rug yourself up in the morning and then you wear that coat home on that busy tram and you sweat it out. You understand what I'm saying? You probably do. You speak English pretty well.
You're listening to me.
Yeah. So that's my advice. I just take a lot of deodorant to work so that I don't kill everybody on the tram on the way home.
Yeah, I just can't agree with you because I hate being hot.
Oh, I hate it too.
It's the reason I moved to Melbourne because I get very faint. Like, so summer/spring for me is Panadol every day because every day I get a headache because
you need
it's hot.
to drink more water, boy.
Mate, I drink fucking like 3 liters of water a day. I don't need any more. Maybe I need less water.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But it's just hot, and so I hate it, and it makes me want to go home. So I need to be as cool as possible. I also, even though I'm also a pasty boy, I'm luckily to be covered in a lot of hair, which does block out some of the sun. But I hate long pants with a passion.
Yeah.
I also don't like long sleeve shirts. So get me my shorts and my shorts and my shorts.
So that's how we deal with it, Shannon. Basically what we're saying is do whatever the hell you want because we didn't seem to reach any particular consensus. But
dress your top half in a jacket and your bottom half in a skirt or pants, whatever you feel like wearing, but like short ones. And then your middle will be fucking primo all day long.
Yeah. It'll be a nice, cool toasty.
A nice equilibrium.
Yeah.
Just do what... Hey, Shannon, you know what? fuck what we say. Do you, mate.
Or harden the fuck up and just carry your coat.
Yeah.
Is probably
This
the
is true.
simplest answer.
Taking a cardi isn't that heavy, or taking a jacket. I still take it. Anyway.
Look, Shannon, thanks for your letter that was definitely sent in by you
Thank
and not
you,
written
Shannon.
by me. We really appreciate it.
Shannon, thank you.
Yeah.
If that if that was perchance written by you, Tim, I feel like you could have just asked me earlier how you should dress for the day. Like,
Yeah.
I've had a lot of comments about your horrible fashion earlier, so
It's true. Most people do make comments, strangers, audibly, as I walk past.
oh, fuck,
Yeah.
what are you doing wearing that shirt?
Yeah.
Brilliant, Tim. Now, you know what's exciting for me on this day of the 12th in the year of our Lord?
I don't. But
is the fact that there is now a very reliable way for our audience to communicate with us. And I know that because I know they need this. They're all shy of the other way, but here's a new way. Tim, we have a Facebook group.
a group.
Now, we've had a page for a while, and we've got our Twitters and our Instagrams, and we've got our website and our email, but now we have an exclusive radical clubhouse, as I believe the description reads.
But what's the difference between a page and a group?
Tim, it's a great question, and thank you for asking it. I'd love to field it, but I'm not going to because I am not an employee of Facebook. It basically means that we can have more discussions and we can get in. So the page will remain, but the page is purely going to mainly be for, like, you know, sending out
Letting
new
people
episodes.
know what's going on, yeah.
And it's more about, I guess, the public eye is going to see that, whereas the group is for us and people that listen to it, and we can talk about the nitty-gritty. We can share relevant memes, as they're pronounced.
Yeah, g'day, family and community. All
yeah.
coming together to discuss Australia.
Yes. Now, how are you
And
going to
other
find
things,
it?
I guess.
How are you going to find it? You're going to type in "Yeah G'day Fans," and that's how you're going to find it. I believe if you are into the URL world, it's like facebook.com/groups or .groups, and then like /Yeah G'day Fans. Just type in "Yeah G'day Fans," you'll find it. Now, it is a closed group because the bots, they're after us.
That's definitely
And we're not letting them
true.
in. But I'll just let you... Hey, if you haven't gone yet, here's a little tip for you. Today we talked about hair washing. So, you know, I'm not saying it's the best group ever, but it's the best group ever.
It's mediocre at best. No, we do
now.
love it.
And Tim hates it even though it's been up for a day. Tim's like, fuck the group. But it'll be a good spot, especially for asking for dadvice and for sharing sightings of Harold Holt in the real time. And groups are better for getting notifications so you don't miss anything.
Absolutely.
Tim,
Yes.
2 podcasts that are deep in our group and our fan base would be Unabashedly Obsessed or Unabashedly Fucking Obsessed, eh?
Hey, watch it.
That's what it... And see, I put the Australian twang on it.
Fucking, yeah.
With James Anderson and Erin King. Great podcast.
Great people.
Wonderful people, very similar to us in terms of they just talk and people listen, and it's good. And they also have the same kind of fandoms as us with the Harry Potter and the Stephen King, which I'm not big on the Stephen King, but they love the Stephen King.
They do love the Stephen, yeah.
We love James and Erin, so you need to follow them on social media. It's either UFO Podcast or just look for Unabashedly Obsessed. They have a group which is Unabashedly Obsessed with Unabashedly Obsessed.
Oh.
So get on that. James and Erin have been hanging out with us for like a year now. I don't know.
Yeah, they're good peeps.
We chat
Good
with them all the time. And then another podcast in there is our good friend Ali Shit My Pants Chance and Adam Damn Otter Dotter, who do a podcast called So That's How It Ends.
Oh, that's how it ends.
Well,
Interesting.
so
I was wondering
that's
how it ended.
which is a podcast which looks at movies. They watch a movie in 2 parts. I believe, from my memory, is that they talk about it in the first part, what they think it's going to be, and then they watch it and they say, or they watch half of it and talk about it. There's 2 parts.
They guess the ending, then they watch the ending. That's
that's
the
how it
simplified explanation, which
So-
for some reason you were having so much difficulty with.
So that's how I explain their podcast. So you can find them on Twitter and Facebook. So that's how it ends. And you can find all these guys on iTunes and all your other podcatchers and that. You need to listen because they're good and they're our friends and they're across the water.
Yeah. Go out there and try some new podcasts. Things like Serial, the last podcast on the left. These big ones, they got big followings, and they're fantastic shows, but go out there and try some spicy little ones.
Right. I thought you were just recommending people to go listen to Serial. And I was like, if you found our podcast and you haven't listened to Serial, it's a miracle, really.
No, but what I'm saying is, you know, there's these big shows, and of course, they're all very well produced, and they're always very, very good. But you need to go out there. There's a lot of great up-and-coming podcasts that don't have massive followings that have some really great content. You should go out and do some exploring on your podcast app, whatever you prefer to use, and find these guys, because there's some great stuff you're missing out on.
The quality in production value and content that I find in, I guess, what we are... I know that podcasting is an indie media that's becoming more popular, but what is our indie community of our own with our small... Our small, ever-growing group of podcasts in our podcast club, shout out Still Buffering Podcast Club, is amazing. The quality is, I think, a lot of times better than what I find, which is always annoying in the more famed ones. You can also find us on the Auscast network. Happy to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can find a plethora of shows on there as well, like One Newsman, a Web Guy, Badcast... Once Upon a Tangent, and Is This Movie For You? There you go. I remembered them all. Man, I'm good.
Done.
So get out there, listen to stuff. Tim, what are you going to say? Come on, get out, mate.
What have I got to say?
Yeah, come on.
I'm really sorry for what I did. Is that what you're talking about? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. We should probably just wrap it up with some thanks.
Yeah, we should say thank you to Curtis Fernance.
Yeah, he's your friend, mate.
He's my mate.
What's
his
his name
again?
Mate? Is it, Chris Furnance. Chris
Furnance. Yeah, no, thanks, Chris. No, Curtis Fernance, Fern Tree Music on Facebook. Thank you for our introduction, outroduction, and the Harold Holt Watch music, which was not in this episode, but you can hear that on other episodes. Go and find it.
You can.
Go find his stuff, because he's always doing something fun. And
thank you to...
It's your turn.
I feel like we're really on the ball today. Thank you to Teylor Smirl, Smell Smelly Tea, for our wonderful cover art that makes us look fucking incredible.
Definitely better than we both look right now.
Very true. Very true.
And go find us on all of the social medias, and we will talk to you next week, I guess.
Yeah, and definitely deep dive into this G'day fans. Come on, let's have a bit of fun. I'll post pictures of Tim sleeping, because I've got a whole backlog.
I tend to fall asleep in front of the television a lot.
That would be the short. Here's the parting note for you. Leon's wise words, like Jerry Springer's at the end of each episode. Friends, if I was to share a picture of Tim sleeping in the group, that would be a surefire way to end this podcast and my existence.
Yeah, I've got a raging hard erection in all of the photos.
What? I'm going to have to go back there. Alrighty, yeah. G'day, Tim.
Yeah, g'day, Leon.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone. Catch yous on the flippity flop.
Hi, Jeremy Cordeaux in the Court of Public Opinion. I'm just on air here to let you know that we'll be live streaming the Court of Public Opinion every Friday between 9 o'clock and 12 on jeremycordeaux.com. Please join us. We'd love to have you.